first class. He wasn't traveling in coach. He was traveling in bondage. He was traveling in handcuffs, if that makes sense to you. But they respected this man of God enough that they wanted to hear what he had to say. Even in your darkest hour, this is not even in the message, there may be somebody who will come to you at your worst time and tell you something that's going to encourage your life. So in the middle of the chaos, in the middle of the fear, in the middle of the doubt, probably people screaming and yelling and man fainting, there was a man who came from the Lord, who had a word from the Lord, and they chose to listen to him. But that wasn't it. Paul puts the seal of approval on his earlier statement. He says, "Last night an angel of God, to whom I belong, and whom I serve, stood beside me and said, 'Don't be afraid. Paul, you must stand trial before Caesar. And God has graciously given you the lives of all who sail with you.'" That's powerful. So what I want to let you go and let you know, is the first point today is, you know you can make it when there's a word from the Lord. How many know that you can make it if God gives you a word? He will give you a word even in your storm. The slide says, "God, I love you." That's a message from God. The message that Paul received was delivered by an angel. God could have used anything, but he used an angel to give Paul assurance and promise on his journey. And as Paul was encouraged, he encouraged those who were with him. And the angel came to bring calmness to the storm. The angel came to bring assurance. The angel came to bring hope. And the angel came with a word. And the word was, Yolanda, good news. It was good news. In the Bible, God uses angels to do so many different things. Amen. God uses angels to tell us good news. If you don't believe me, look in Genesis. It says an angel of the Lord told Hagar not to fear, and he had heard the voice of the lad and knew where the lad was. Minister Odom, in Judges, it says an angel of the Lord sat under an oak tree and appeared before Gideon to say to the Lord, "Is with you, O valiant one." Minister Howley, it also said in Psalms, the angel, in Psalms 3:3, an angel came. And David said it like this. David said, "In trouble, he is my shield, my glory, and the one who lifts up my head." That's what it says, Psalms 3:3. So the angel came to encourage and to be a lifter. But he came with a message. The second point you need to know that you can make it is when you trust or you believe in God. Amen. You know that you can make it when you trust and believe in God. It says it right here. I'll read it for you in case you didn't see it. It says, verse 25, "Therefore take heart, men, for I believe God. And it will be just as he told me." That's powerful. It's hard for us to believe God. Some of us, amen, isn't it? We can believe him on the sunny day. We can believe him when all the money is in our bank. We can believe him when our car is running the way it's supposed to. We can believe him when we open the refrigerator and there's all the food that we like. We can believe him when there's money on the table that we even asked for. We can believe him that when our kids are acting right. We can believe him when we have the kind of job that we like. We believe him when things are good. But do you have a strong enough belief to believe him in the midst of your storm? Is there anybody in here who's willing to believe God in the midst of your storm? Paul tells the passengers, the mixed group, the soldiers, the captain, the centurion, the fellow prisoners, the shipmates. He tells them, "I believe God. I trust God." He was saying, even though things look crazy, even though I warned you not to go, even though you may have doubts, rest assured and be of good cheer that God has made me a promise. And because he's made that promise to me that none should perish, I believe his promise. I can trust in what he me. I trust him to do what he said he's going to do, because he's God, and he's a God. He cannot lie. If he says you're going to make it, you're going to make it. But you have to have faith in order to believe, even when you don't feel it, even when you can't see it, because faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. But you must trust. You must trust in God. So you can make it if you have a message from God. You can make it if you believe and you trust in God. Amen. But the third point I really want you to know, that Reverend, I want you to know that you can make it even if it's on broken pieces. Do I got any people who made it on broken pieces in here today? The Bible says that some jumped overboard first and swam to land. Those might have been the strong ones. Those might have been the ones who was really fed. I don't know who it was, but and the rest of them, and some of them made it on parts, made it on broken pieces of the ship. I'll say that one more time. Some of them who weren't strong enough to swim had to make it on broken pieces of the ship. Listen, the storm that you're going through may be rough. It may be tempestuous. It may be ripping the ship apart. This was a big ship. It was, I told you already, 276 passengers. People were on the storm, broken up on a broken up ship. The ship that they thought was going to bring them safely through the storm was now reduced to little itty bitty pieces. There were pieces of the rudder. There were pieces of the stern. There were pieces of the mast. There was pieces. There was parts. And once a large, solid ship, now in broken pieces. Think about it. Clothes were tattered and torn. They all had to be wet from the rainstorm that was happening. Some of them had to be cold and chilly. Some of them probably lost their hope. Maybe some of them couldn't see one hand in front of the other.